So I recently bought these slabs online, and they are not really slabs at all. I don't think any lapidary artist could even call these slabs. They're not even, they're super chunky, and part of them is polished. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, and it's going to start with re-slabbing all of these pieces. So with these lapidary projects that involve cutting and polishing, typically for me, the cutting process is the most exciting part, because when you cut open something, you get to see inside it for the very first time, and its potential, its perfection is actualized. You get to see what is going on the inside. But with this Labradorite, when you do cut it open, it's not quite there yet. You can see the color flashing on the inside and everything like that, but you're really not going to get that full gratification until the very end. So with this project, I am mostly looking forward to the polishing process. Well, now that we have all of those slabs of Labradorite cut up into actual slabs, I'm now going to grab my stencils, pick some shapes, and draw them on our actual slabs, and get back on the saw, start trimming them up so that we can get them ready to be dopped. Now, even though I made a bunch of slabs from this Labradorite, I'm only going to be proceeding with 7 cabochons. I think that's a very hefty grouping, and they're going to turn out great. I think we got a lot of fun shapes and a lot of good color in there. So now we're going to move over to the dopping station. So I'm going to place all of our pieces on the top of that dopping station to get them nice and warm, so that when we apply the wax with the dopping stick, it gets a nice hold and doesn't pop off during the grinding, pre-polish, and polishing process. And I don't know what it is about turning on the dopping station, that wax warming up. It gives off kind of a funky smell, but it's not a bad smell. I was thinking about it. It's almost like a nostalgic smell, where when I think about it, it reminds me of past projects, past cabochons that I've made and everything that I've done down here in the shop, and it's just kind of like a happy nostalgic smell. And I don't know why I haven't turned it on in a long time, and as soon as I did today, I was like, oh yeah, that's what's up. I love that. So I'm gonna let these pieces get warm, we'll get them dopped, and once they're all dopped, we will turn our Cap King on and get to shaping our pieces into those stenciled shapes that we made. So out of our 7 dopped pieces, only one of them broke off, and I just redopped it. So I got to do a very minor touch up to this piece, but the rest of these are looking really good. And I'm gonna get started on the 280 soft res wheel to start working out all these flat spots, and I'll meet back up with you after a few stages to see how these are looking. We are now moving on to the 1200 grit res wheel. The right side of the Cap King is my favorite because it goes so quickly. We are now in the polishing stages, and here is one of them that is finished through 1200 grit. This little shield is looking mighty fine, and yes, that is just the 1200 grit. You can see the light playing on there. It's going to look so great when we get through the 3000 and 8000 grit res wheels. So let's get back to polishing.